Now, Zen and monkeys are typically two words that you don't expect them one next to another. Typically, Zen is linked with Zen principles, Zen mindset and philosophy, and monkeys are typically linked with fast, playfulness and a bit of noise. Right? In this game, you have them together, Zen monkeys, and in this game, players are taking the roles of one side, which is trying to please the Monkey King in order to follow the Zen principles in the jungle by directing streams, directing and forging pathways, and putting different features like statues, bridges, and lanterns on their landscape in order to create the most Zen-like and Zen-approved environment. This is a very interesting new game seeking crowdfunding. I'm going to add the link in the description of the video. I've already done an unboxing of the prototype to show the components, and in this video I'm going to show you how the game plays with details and timestamps in the description of the video for quick jump based on chapter. And then at the end of this video I'll come back for some final first impressions on how it looked on the table and what general feeling it left me and my friends when we were playing the game. So Zen Monkeys is a game that's all around pushing your luck, planning carefully, following the open cues and the hidden ways to gain victory points. Not that hidden, but just taking advantage of correct things at the correct time, managing your resources correctly, placing tiles in a specific way with building patterns, and pushing your luck to avoid the guardians, which can bust you and lose everything that you've planned in terms of foraging and executing some of your worker placement actions, which will hurt, of course. So all in all, this is a very interesting, family-friendly, light, medium light I would say, game which has the main mechanism of worker placement, but it builds around a very nice and joyful environment in terms of table presence and looks and aesthetics on the table, with these little cute monkeys, the nice art, the colorful, and all the different art and aesthetics of the game in general. But what I really enjoyed, and I'm going to discuss more at the end of this video, where I share more about my first impressions of the game, I really enjoyed this push your luck element, the nice planning, the correct resource management, the different ways to collect enlightenment points, essentially the victory points in this game, and all in all of it glued together in a really good package that delivers freshness and fun above all, with interesting gameplay. So join me at the table, I'll show you how the game plays, and let's meet up back at the end of this video with some final first impressions from myself about Zen Monkeys. Monkey King Sun Wukong has tasked his disciples to build him a kingdom on the mountain of fruit and flowers, following the principles of Zen. The object of the game, Zen Monkeys, is very straightforward. You will control these disciples, helping to create his new mountain kingdom, score enlightenment points by collecting features and resources from the wilds in order to landscape your domain, by making offerings to Sun Wukong, and by building a shrine to rival the Celestial Court. Zen Monkeys is a 2 to 4 player game that takes around 60 to 90 minutes, ages 8 and up, and it is a game that falls under the category of easygoing, interesting mythology puzzle games with main mechanisms: pattern building, point-to-point movement, push your luck, set collection. It has simultaneous action selection as well as worker placement, which is the dominant mechanism. So let's focus on the components of the game. Again, I want to emphasize that this is a prototype, so everything you see in front of you, it's a prototype material, so things may change and improvements will happen, so you'll have to follow the link in the description of the video for the crowdfunding campaign page, and follow the campaign to find out more. Already I know that there are some interesting minis going on and much more to be discovered. So let's focus on the components. First, what we see in front of us in the center space is a wilds board, which represents the mountain of fruit and flower where features and resources can be found. This is a mountain, and features and resources can be found all around it in different spots. We have the moon track. This is the track at the top of the main board, and this is shows the current round. It has a special Harvest Moon and Sun Wukong teaches around some specific rounds, and tracks the player's enlightenment points as well. There are monkey gates that you see in specific spaces, like this one for the blue player, the purple player, the green player, and the orange player. These are gates where monkeys gain landscape tiles, and gates can only be used by the matching color player. That means this gate and this spot subsequently can only be used from the purple player. There are action zones, which are ringed areas where monkey markers are placed to perform actions. These markers are worker placement disciples, which are placed on different spots. Here you can see this pond fish ringed space has 1, 2, 3 spots for placement. That means one can go here, and another one can go here, and there is one more, a third one, which can be populated only in 4-player games, and that's why you see some spots slightly gray, indicating that they come in play only with 4-player games. Then we have the mountain steps, the turn order track giving bonuses when players move up on it. This is the track here that leads all the way to the top of the mountain. Okay, and these steps give bonuses, also dictate the turn order for the players. We have the shrine build area where monkeys, where monkey disciples build Sun Wukong's shrine. This is the area over here in the central, which is going to take space by populating it with shrine tiles. More on that later. And I believe there are miniatures there as well in some version of the game. There are also spots like the charity track, which is here. Starting, this is printed reverse. To be honest, I would have preferred that this is on the same side, but I can understand that some players are sitting across sometimes, so you need to split. So you can see this one, and that one can be seen from the player sitting across. Anyway, this is a third spot, and you progress moving up. This is a charity track and marks the progress of a player's charity. We also have the honors track, which is here. You start at this bottom spot and then you move like a zigzag following the arrows. This is a track that marks the progress of players' honor by building Sun Wukong's shrine. And last but not least, we have the offerings table, which shows the current bonuses gained by offering fruit to the Sun Wukong here. We have 12 action cards and respective bonus cards. So these are the action cards that they have. We have over here. There are 3, as you can see. They have this back for the starting action cards. Okay, each player is going to get a set. We'll explain this during setup, which will consist of one with 1 paw, 1 card with 2 paws, and 1 card with 3 paws. There are 6 Zen principle cards, which are displayed face up, and these are like objectives, secondary objectives, which change hand if someone builds different they give rewards to the players who have fulfilled them. We'll explain how these work later. Then we have the teaching cards, which is this deck, and we have 2 of those cards face up as the setup below is prepared for the game. We'll explain later on. We also have the main board, which is colored on the player's color. This is for the green player, and the border is green. This for the red-orange player, and so on. We'll explain the anatomy, but keep in mind that domain boards represent parts of the mountain forest that players will landscape by using tiles and placing those tiles on the different grid spots, flipping it, rotating them accordingly so that they can feature them. We have the landscape storage area. This is this area where you can store landscape tiles. We have the build action space. This is an active worker placement space where you send your meeples, your monkey meeples, to prepare for building later on. And this is on your player board. Okay. Monkeys disciples placed there can landscape with tiles, building features, or plant trees. We'll see how that works later on. And there is a resource and feature storage area, which is here. Resource and feature storage area, which is used as a, you can say, warehouse for the player board. We have a red marker on the top for the Monkey King. We have 3 guardian markers in gray color. They're starting on specific spots and they're moving clockwise during their guardian's phase, more on that later. We have 12 monkey disciples, 3 in each of the colors. The 2 more colors that I didn't fit in the screen, but I have set up the game for 4 players to explain to you, are blue and pink, very nice colors. And there's a total of 62 landscape tiles. By creating the setup, you already place them in 4 stacks, face up, so that you can select them, and the total of them are 62. There is a die for the guardian movement, which has blank, minus or plus as a modifier to the guardian dice movement, the guardian dice step movement. And there are enlightenment point markers, which are used for example for the different tracks, for the enlightenment points around the board, and for all the areas that we need to track. There are 93 feature tokens. You'll see them stacked here. Okay, so these are features like banana trees or statues, okay, bridges, etc. You have 12 shrine tiles over there, and you have 102 resource tokens, which I have already placed next to each ringed space. Okay, so stone next to this space, koi fish next to this space. Okay, so but this is a feature. Okay, this is not a resource. Resources are wood, a bamboo, stone. Okay, and we have fruit like banana, cherries, and so on. Okay, but they are populated next, so that the pool is next to the action spot. So these are the main components of this prototype. So let's focus now on the game setup. Game setup. So first of all, we place all fruit trees, cherry, banana, and persimmon and plum next to the wilds board. This is here on the left. The amount of which will be used is based on the number of players. Okay, same goes for the rest of the features. So we place the shrine pieces also next to the board. I just have it off screen now, but these are on the right corner. Okay, these are based, these are grouped by number for level 1, 2, and 3, and they're just placed on the corner of the main board. They're going to be based, built based on level. First level, the bottom level, then the second, and then the top. Okay, then we also have the Monkey King marker, which is this marker here. Okay, it's the red piece which starts at the beginning. We place him on the first spot. Okay, and this is the beginning of the moon track. Then we place all building resources, bamboo, clay, and stone, in piles near the respective action zones. And we place the fruit resources next to their action zones as well. Just to show you an example, here's the bamboo, just place it next to the bamboo spot, the banana next to the banana, a plum next to the plum, and so on. Okay. Then we place the 3 guardian monkeys on the starting locations according to the colored symbols. Okay, you see one here, and one here. Okay, these are essentially gray maples, which act as a guardian. Okay, I recommend, since they're moving clockwise, to have them facing always on this direction, so you're not mixed and confused in the course of the game. Then I will place a number of feature tokens available as a supply depending on the number of players, which is included in the table in the rulebook. This is a game setup for 4 players, so I placed 7 lotus, 7 koi fish, 7 banana palm, 7 cherry tree, sorry, 8 banana palm, 8 cherry tree, 8 plum tree, 8 persimmon tree, and 6 statue, which are these here, as a pile. Okay, and 6 lantern on a respective pile, and last but not least 6 bridges. Okay, the specific number of pool depends on the number of players participating in the game, so you can find that in the rulebook. Then we place an enlightenment point marker, a disc from each player, next to the Sun Wukong's marker on the moon track here. We place markers below the honor and charity tracks, here and here, okay? And we also create a random stack of players on step 1 of the mountain track, here. Keep in mind that the one that's on top is ahead on turn order, okay? So the player on top of the stack becomes the first player, the second in the stack, green below the orange, becomes the second player, and so on. Now, as part of player setup, one last thing before we move to player setup, we just place the 4 stacks with tiles, landscape tiles, as you've seen here, okay? We place, shuffle and place the teaching cards face down near the wilds, and we flip 1 card or 2 cards if it's a 3 or 4 player games. This is here on the top, and we flip 2 in a 3 or 4 player game, and we leave space for new cards to be placed. And then we have the Zen principal objectives, which are these cards. These are here, those 6 cards, which I place face up nearby. I just squeezed everything for the camera, but you can place them anywhere you want for easy access from all players. And there are also some bonus cards, okay, which can be acquired in the course of the game. We just shuffle them and keep them nearby as a reserve. These are starting cards, like the ones I showed you here next to the player board. If you are playing with less than 4 players, some will be left out during setup. For the domain boards, okay, these domain boards for the players. Each player takes 1 domain board, 4 matching disciple markers. Okay, these are these markers here, which I've already showed you where we place them on the main board. They also take the 3 disciple markers, okay, and they keep them there. And they also take a set of monkey movement cards. These are these cards here. Each player starts with the same set, 1 with 1 paw, 1 with 2, and 1 with 3. Okay, so this is their hand. Just placing it face up so it's visible for the video explanation. The most recent player to eat a banana, that's a nice tiebreaker, chooses 3 tiles from the top of the landscape stacks that I showed you before. The stacks that they contain these type of tiles. Okay, they choose 3, and then they place 1 on their main board in 1 spot. If they cover something, like this case a plum, they just take it as a resource. Okay, of course they are allowed, and we'll talk about the placement rules, to rotate it during placement. Okay, and the second one they place next to on their domain board as a reserve. Okay, they're going to use it, keep it for later use, and they discard the third one at the bottom of any of the stacks. All players do the same in anti-clockwise order, and once this is done, the players are ready to start the game. Gameplay. Let's see the phases of a round, and then let's break down each phase in more detail. The first phase is the action card selection. The second phase is the monkey foraging. The third phase is the guardians. Fourth phase is resolve actions. And fifth and last phase is the final phase of the round, which is the monkey king move. And then we go again from this pattern. Now let's start with the first phase of the round, which is the action card selection. The monkey movement cards, just to show you again, these are the monkey movement cards. Okay, and we start with 3. 1 with 3 paws, 1 with 2 paws, and 1 with 1 paw. So the monkey movement cards show how many disciple monkeys a player will send to the wilds board to go collecting, and how much noise they will make. Each paw you see on the card, in this case 1, 2, 3, represents 1 monkey going collecting on the wilds board here. The cards also show how many monkeys will stay and perform a build action, in this case 0. And I remind you the build action is by placing on your domain board on this spot the monkey meeple, the disciple. Okay, so if you play this card, you're only going to send monkeys, 3 monkeys on the wilds. But if you're going to play this card, you're going to send 2 monkeys to build on your domain board and only 1 monkey on the main wilds board. Also, the cards show how many monkeys will stay and perform the build action, but they also show have a feature about noise. This card creates no noise, and noise is linked with the amount of monkeys going into the wilds board because they make noise by collecting. Okay, they are noisy in their nature. So if you send 2, you're going to make 1 noise. If you send 3 on the wilds board, you're going to make 2 noise. Okay, so these are the features of the monkey cards. Each player secretly in this step selects one of the removed cards, placing it face down. The rest should be not visible to the players. Okay, so your selection stays in front of you in a clear space, and then all players simultaneously reveal the cards, placing 1 monkey disciple on each monkey paw icon shown, and any other monkey markers on the ringed build action zone on their domain board, or on any teaching cards currently the player has. More on that later. So let's see how this happens in practice. So from my hand I have always available all 3 cards. Okay. What I do is, let's say I select 1 card. Let me say that I just selected this one, so the rest are still in my hand. Okay. And simultaneously all players just select 1 and all of us reveal it at the same time. Okay. And by revealing the card, we just have a number of paws. So we're placing 1 monkey disciple on each of the paws. So we're going to send 2 on the wilds board and 1 on the build space on our own domain board. So this is how this card translates. Second phase is a monkey foraging, starting with the first player, and the first player is the one on top of the stack, or the player who is ahead on this track. In this case it would be the purple, the orange, which is first. Okay, second the green, third the pink, and fourth the blue. So starting with the first player, each player takes their turn placing a monkey disciple from their chosen move action card on an action space in a ringed action zone of their choice. Okay, by following the rules that we're going to explain. Until this continues until all monkeys on cards from the different players, one after the other, are placed. So let's say in this case the orange player is playing first and they decide to play 1 here. Okay, then let's say second is the green player who takes 1 from their card. Again, they don't take it from the build spot on their domain, they take it from their card, movement card, from the pose where they have placed it. Let's say they place 1 here on the 2. Okay, then it is the pinks player's turn. Okay, let's say they only have 1 because they sent to build twice, so they just place it here. Okay, and then it's the blue who also they just have 1, and let's say they go here to get some koi fish. Now going back to the orange player, if they still have monkey disciples on the cards, they're going to continue placing. Okay, so they can place a second one, then the green still has 1, let's say they place here. The pink do not have any other on their cards. The same goes for the blue. Okay, and then going back again to the orange player, they have 0 because they placed both of them, and the green player still has 1 more. Okay, because they just send 3 this round and they just send it on a spot. Okay, so this is an example of a phase 2, monkey foraging. Now, if all action spaces are blocked by previously placed monkeys, players cannot place their monkey in that zone. For example, if this spot was also taken and this spot was also taken, okay, then you cannot go and place a pawn there. Okay, so you need to have spaces. Again, here we have 1, 2, 3, if we're playing a 3 or 4 player game, spots for collecting a lotus flower. Okay, so if it is full, then you cannot place in that ringed action zone. Also, disciple monkeys cannot be placed in action zones blocked by guardians. We'll see how this happens, but down the road, let's say this guardian moved twice, so 1, 2, so they count both the intermediate steps. You see they have the monkey guardian here and the ring action zone space. So if they had to move 2, so 1, 2, first of all, if there was anyone here, they're going to be kicked out, more of that later. But also during placement, if any of the guardians ended up from the previous round on an action ring space, you are not allowed to send your disciple in that zone. This whole action zone is blocked when a guardian is sitting on one of those. The guardians will always move clockwise. Okay, so keep that in mind. Action zones in front of gates, like example this one for the orange player. These are not on the path, as you can see. They're a bit outside of the main path, so the path of the monkeys moving. Okay, so this is in front of the gate. So this is always available to the player, matching color. So this is a spot unique for the orange player. So by choosing the orange player, he could have decided to go there, and they can send as many of their disciple meeples as they want. And this is only available for the orange player. The same goes for the green, which is for the green player, purple, and the last one is the blue over here. Okay. So a word about turn order and player position. The first player in the turn order is always the one who's highest on the stack, or if they are tying for the first position. But before that, we just check if someone is ahead on the track, on the mountain track, in this case the orange. Then they are considered to be first. Okay, so this is how the second phase, the monkey foraging phase, works. You just send as many disciples, one after the other, following turn order, based on the planning you did by playing the action card selection from the first phase. That's how you execute. You don't collect anything yet, okay? You just send them. Third phase is the guardians phase. Wild monkeys called guardians, they are not allied to the king monkey, and they patrol the forest. Again, these are these gray figures. They patrol the forest, chasing away any monkey disciples they find collecting and blocking the action zones until the guardian moves away on a subsequent turn. The guardian phase, which is explained now, has 3 steps. First is calculate noise. Remember, during the previous steps we have all played a movement card which generates some noise at the bottom. So the red or the orange player just played the card with 1 noise. Okay, so monkeys are excitable creatures and generate a lot of noise when collecting, and this alerts the patrolling guardians. The amount of noise generated by disciple monkeys is shown by the chattering monkey symbol I just showed you on the bottom of the movement cards. We total the amount of noise generated by foraging monkeys on all movement cards played this round, and the total noise dictates how far the guardians will move. Okay, so let's say we have 1 and 2, 3, okay, and 0 and 0 for a total of 3, whatever. So the second step is the guardian movement. Guardians patrol along the path around the mountain, as you see, and between action zones in a clockwise direction following the trail of footprints. So this guy is always going to move that direction clockwise, and you can, if you note the little footprints, you can also see the direction which is clockwise. So each guardian moves a number of spaces equal to the total noise generated by all players, plus or minus for or none for the result of the guardian dice roll, which we do roll. The dice rolled for each guardian separately, okay, and the modifier could be different for each guardian depending on the roll result. But if the total noise from the cards that we said before instead of 3 was 0, the guardians do not move at all, and the die is not rolled, and the guardians continue to block their current action zone without moving further. Keep also in mind that guardians are fearful of the wrath of King Monkey and never move on the gate zones nor on mountain action zones. So for the 3 guardians we have here, for each of them we'll do this following procedure, and I'm just showing you for one of them. Okay, then we go to the next one, and then we go to the third one. We calculate the noise in the previous example, the total noise out of all of the cards played, I'm just showing you 2 now, it's 1 and 2. 1 and 2, 3, plus 0 from the third and fourth player, okay? That creates a total of 3. Then we roll the die, okay? And if it's a blank, the total result is 3. If there is a plus, the total result is 3 plus 1, 4. And if it is a minus, the total result is 3 minus 2, 3 minus 1, a result of 2. Okay, so let's say we roll the minus. So 3 minus 1 equals 2. That means that this guardian is going to move 2 spaces, counting also the ring spaces. So 1, 2. Okay, and they will step here. But if they were, here's a spot behind it, I don't know if you can see it. If they were starting from this spot and they would move 2, they would move 1, 2. Okay? Meaning you count both the ring spaces and the monkey guardian in between spaces, wherever they are. In this case, we didn't have any in between space. So 1, 2. Sorry, not 2. They skip this guardian space. So 1, 2 here. Let me show you. They never go. I just realized this is a gate action ring, so they can never go there, as I said before. So from there, by moving 2, they would move 1 and 2. Okay, so this is where they end, in the in-between space between here and here, here and here. The in-between space is this one. Right, so they didn't end on an action space where there was a monkey discipline. Okay, so here comes the third step of the guardian's phase, the chase. A guardian finishing its move in an action zone occupied by monkey markers, they will eject all the monkeys there, and the monkeys are placed on top of the mountain and here, and they cannot resolve an action this round, and will return to the player's domain board in phase 5 at the end of the round. So essentially their planning is wasted. They will not forage anything in the fourth phase after this one. So let's say in the case of this example, this guardian was here and they moved 1, 2. They will kick out all of the monkeys there, not just one, and place them at the top of the mountain. Okay, or sideways, whatever, it doesn't matter. Just they're not available to the players. Okay, right. So you will do that also for the second guardian, and then also for the third, remembering to roll the die each time again. So it's 3 for the second guardian, minus again. They also move 2, and for the third guardian it's 3 plus nothing. That means 3. They will move 3 exact spots. This inserts an element of unpredictability for and a bit of a push your luck element, which is really fun and exciting. Okay, I can tell you that. So this is the third step of the guardian phase, and after we moved all 3 guardians, we conclude the guardian's phase. Fourth phase is the resolve actions phase. In turn order, as dictated from the mountain step track, the players now resolve their chosen monkey actions, collecting, landscaping, or building, one at a time in any order that the player chooses, returning to the domain board after taking their action. Okay, so let's first focus on collecting. We start with the orange player, and they will execute, then resolve their actions. If they have any actions for collecting, each disciple monkey in an action zone can take resources, make an offering, build part of the shrine, or take a feature such as a lotus flower or a fish, and we'll explain the action zones later on, but let's see how the different aspects work. Okay, so for the landscape and build spots, monkey is placed here, over here, on the build action zone of a domain board, can place landscape tiles or build features using resources. These actions can be carried out in any order, and only the feature shown on the tile with its cost in resources can be placed. Landscape, domain, and build actions are going to be explained later. Okay, so you would be placing landscapes, and then placing paying the resources. In this case, for example, it would be 3 if you can place features and landscape tiles like this one, okay, and then pay the resources, in this case 3 plum, in order to place 1 plum feature. Okay, we'll explain how this works later on, but this is how the landscape happens. Keep in mind on gaining enlightenment points. Players gain enlightenment points, the victory points of the game, during the game as soon as they place a feature token on a landscape. So when they are, in this case, again, let's say they were here, okay, if they are placing a feature on a landscape tile, like I just did, they will gain a number of victory points for placing the feature on a landscape tile on their domain board. How many victory points are earned? It's at the back of the rulebook, and we're going to be explaining later. They also gain points when they place a shrine tile on the shrine build space. This is here where players start building the shrine. Okay, they will gain victory points for doing so. They claim enlightenment points for bonus cards or specific steps of the mountain track they're moving on. Okay, for example, here there are 8 enlightenment points if you reach the step of the mountain track. When they make a fruit offering, by offering fruit to increase their position here, okay, and this is going to be explained later. And when they make when they move the marker on the honor or charity track, they also may gain victory points, as you see here, and the same goes for the honor track. The amount of enlightenment points gained is summarized at the end of the rulebook, and I'm going to show you how this looks like, and it's going to be something that the players are going to be planning around during gameplay. Action zones explained. There are 5 types of action zones on the Wilds board: feature zones for collecting features, resource zones for collecting resources, gate zones for collecting landscape tiles, offering zone for making offerings on the Monkey King, and shrine zone for building the Sang Wong Kong shrine. Spaces that are great, as I mentioned before, like for example this one here, it's a grayed out. It's only used in a 4-player game. So let's see the feature zones. First of all, feature zones provide features such as lotus flowers and koi fish that can be placed on a player's domain board. Players take the matching tokens from the supply, placing them on the storage area on their domain board. Okay, and that's an example of here. This is a feature zone showing koi fish, which you take and you place on your featuring storage zone on your board, which is here. Okay, right. We also have resource zones. Resource zones provide clay, bamboo, or stone, and 4 kinds of fruit. Players take the matching tokens from the supply, placing them in the storage area of their domain board. Some space indicate 2 resources can be claimed instead of 1 by having the number 2 on them on the spot. And keep in mind that resources can never be placed directly on landscape tiles. So an example is this one. This guy here is sent on the 2 spot to collect 2 plum tokens from this supply, and they will place it. I'm showing you the orange. I'm not showing you the green one, but it doesn't matter. They're going to place it here, okay, on the respective board. Likewise, if this guy was collecting, he's collecting 2 stone, so they will take 2 tokens from the pile and place it. Here is for fruit, here is for bamboo, stone, okay, and the materials, so they place it here in that stack, okay, and clay. So this is straightforward, okay. And the last thing I want to show you is the landscape zone gate. The third step actually is the landscape zone. Each monkey play has a matching colored gate that they can only draw landscape tiles themselves, and it's not blocked, and any number of disciples can go there and take tiles, landscape tiles from any landscape tile, and all 3 disciple monkeys can go at the gate, okay. And also the guardians skip over this. This is a good example. This was a bit more misleading because this one is touching the path, so I would recommend to the designers or the developers to move this a bit to the right, not to touch the footprints. This is clear here, more clear. So you will send it here from previous phases, and once you execute that, you will be able to collect a landscape tile, okay, which must be stored from any of the face-up piles. Let's say I want this one. So you're going to take it and place it here on the left side of your board where you store your tiles. This is not automatically built. You need to have already planned for building it, okay, either this round or later, but you just place it here with this action zone. Keep in mind that the player cannot look at the underside of landscape tile until they have claimed the tile. That means that when you take a tile, it could be something different, potentially something that you want even more, or you're looking for from the back of the tile, but you are not able to pick up and flip it. You are only able to see the top side of each of the 4 stacks. If you pick up the tile, then you have already claimed it, and you need to decide one of the 2 sides to play, not now, in the future rounds when you're building it. Monument tiles. There are some tiles like this one, which are called monument tiles, just as a reference, okay? This is something extra. This edition of the game with the Mountain Mini expansion contains a set of rock outcrop tiles showing 3 different Buddhist monkey statues, and these tiles are worth 2 enlightenment points when placed and also count towards the Way of the Strength principle card, and the player gains an additional 6 enlightenment points if they manage to place all set of 3 tiles, hear, see and speak, respectively. Okay, this is an extra. Another of the zone, we said we have 5 types of zones. The 4th type is this one. Let me show you how it looks like. It has this offering symbol with the fruit. Okay, so the offering zone is where King Monkey will give special bonuses in exchange for fruit. To make an offering, a player places disciple monkeys on any available spaces there. And in phase 4, which is what we're talking about now, each disciple monkey can pay the required resources, discarding tokens to the supply from their stock, from their domain board, to claim an applicable bonus shown on the offerings table. Keep in mind that some offering options require 2 or more fruits that are not the same. Let me show you what I mean. If you focus on the offering table, here it says, for example, 2 same fruit to gain this reward, or 3 different fruit to gain this reward, or 3 same fruit to gain this reward, 1 step on the mountain track, or 3 different fruit to gain 2 enlightenment points. Okay, for example, let's say a player, in this case the pink one, paid 3 bananas here to gain 1 step on the mountain track. Okay, they would then move 1 step here and either claim 1 stone or 1 banana. Okay, or if they paid, for example, 3 different fruit, 1 plum, 1 lotus and 1 banana, they would be able to move 1 space on the charity track and taking the respective bonus there, which would be, in this case, moving here and gaining 1 additional fruit. But if they started here, for example, let's say this was the state of the charity track. So if the pink was there and they moved here, they would gain 1 further step on the mountain step that we showed before as an extra bonus from this spot. The 5th and last zone is the shrine building zone, which is this one here and has 2 spots. The shrine building zone is where disciple monkeys pay resources to build parts of the shrine. In total, the shrine has 12 tiles, 3 levels with 4 tiles each, and each disciple monkey placed in the shrine action zone can build a single piece. The player discards the necessary resources, which are shown in the rulebook, takes a shrine piece of the current building level. Okay, so starting first from level 1, then once it's completed, all 4 tiles level 1, they go to level 2, all 4 tiles completed, then they go to level 3, with all 4 tiles completing the full shrine, 3 levels. So all 4 tiles of level must be placed, obviously, before starting the next level, and after placing a a shrine tile, the player moves their marker one step up on the honor track following the arrows. We'll see that in a moment, but the most important thing is that the player, once discarding the resources, takes a shrine piece of the current build level and places it on top of the mountain, and they claim 4 points, 4 enlightenment points for doing so. So for example, let's say in this case the shrine has not started being built at all, they will build the first piece. But it could be that, let's say, all level 1, showing level 1, is already built. Okay, so let's say it's somehow like that. So this is level 1 complete. Okay, that means then you move to level 2, and you would start by building one of the 4 pieces of level 2, and then you would conclude, you know, by doing that in multiple builds, the level 2. But let's say now it was already like that, and then you start building. You just have one build, and you start building the 3rd level. So you're just going to take one, doesn't matter which one, and gain 4 enlightenment points, and build that. As it is now, still has 3 more level 3 tiles, the shrine, and then it's completed for a total of 12 tiles. Okay. So taking 4 enlightenment points and progressing one step on the honor track and gaining the indicated bonus, which is on the bottom left side of the wild's main board. That's over here, and this is the direction. Okay, so the blue player will just going to move here and gain an additional bonus, which is what says here, it's 5 more enlightenment points. Okay, so let's see how the landscape domain and build actions work in a nutshell. Okay, of course, keep in mind that from playing such a card, which allows you to work on your domain board, okay, with this card you're allowed to work once on your domain board. You have either the option to, let's say, spend 3 bananas and build this banana feature, because it costs 3 bananas as printed there, and then you will be placing that, okay, and gaining the banana tree reward, which is shown at the end of the rulebook, that many enlightenment points, okay, more of that later. Or you could spend it, for example, you can spend 2 stone to work on this picture, which requires 2 stone to build the statue feature, okay, and again respectively gain the enlightenment points for the specific statue feature. So it could be a lantern, a statue, or a bridge, okay, and the trees could be similarly the trees that we've seen that produce the fruit, etc. Okay, or you can use one of those buildings, because you placed one single here, to take one from the construction here area, the holding area, and place it on your main board. Okay, so let's see now how the placement rules work for the landscape tiles. They're very, very simple. Okay, so the first rule is landscape tiles must be placed on empty domain boards. Okay, so you can only have one on each spot. It can be placed on any orientation that you wish, as long as the rivers do not connect to paths. What do I mean? If I place it here, this river connects to the left tile to a path. This is not allowed. But you can place it like that, where just the river extends and the path connects to the jungle. Or you can have the river connecting to the jungle. Still this applies. So you can have path or river connecting to a jungle, okay, that's perfectly legal, or but not a path connecting to a river, and vice versa. There are also some pond tiles, like you see, like this one. Ponds are any water areas that are wider than rivers. They can either be connected or not connected to rivers, okay, so it's not necessary to connect them to rivers. And here's an example of a pond being connected to a river. So these are the simple rules for placing landscape tiles. Fifth and last phase of the game is the monkey king of the round of the game is a monkey king move. The monkey king marker, this one here, is now moved one space along the moon track, potentially triggering a harvest moon round, which is marked in red when you move here. Okay, or it could instead move to one of those spots. So if it was already there, it can move to one of these spots with the monkey icon. Okay, so let's see first the harvest moon. When the harvest moon triggers, which is again, you move it once, and then if it's a red spot, then you trigger the harvest moon. When a harvest moon triggers, all fruit trees on the domain boards produce one fruit resource each, and then we have also the catch-up rule. That means, let's say I have a plum tree and a banana tree on my domain board. I will gain one banana from the main pool on the wild board and one plum fruit. Okay, so my trees produce. This is a really important step. Okay, also this, so everybody does this simultaneously at the harvest moon phase. Step, sorry. So also there is a catch-up rule. Sun Wukong is a benevolent ruler to his tribe and sometimes gives out gifts in harvest moon rounds. So the player with the least enlightenment points gains free resources of their choice equal to the number of Monkey King icons shown on the moon track between their current position and the player ahead. Okay? Right. Now, the last thing I want to show you is the Monkey King's teachings. When the Monkey King marker is placed on a round space showing his symbol, Sun Wukong comes down from the mountain to teach his disciples the path of alignment presented by the teaching cards. Okay, so let's see the teaching cards. Teaching cards are secondary objectives for all players at any time a player satisfying the conditions shown. Okay, for this example, for having placed I don't know, two of those type of trees, okay, or two lanterns in this case, okay, connected like that. All of these cards are explained in the rulebook. They can claim the teaching card. The new action zone shown is now exclusively available to the owning player. Okay, here, this action zone, you can send your, in the future round, you can send your monkey disciple here as an action, or here as an action. This is really important because this is a worker spot only for you. They have more options, obviously. And during the course of the game, should another player later satisfy the card requirements with a higher total value, they can immediately take the ownership of the card for themselves. Then we turn the next Monkey King teaching card open, if this was removed, or so that we have 1 or 2 if we're playing a 3 or 4 player game face up, and we begin the next round. For tiebreaker rules, if 2 or more players are tied over the timing of an action, claiming a token or a teaching card, it is the monkey highest on the mountain step track that we've seen before who gains the benefit. Game end and final scoring. Each player now scores the domain board in each of the following categories. First, we have the domain board scoring for each player. You lose 1 enlightenment point for each empty landscape you have on your domain board. You lose 2 for each unused landscape tile in storage that you didn't place. You lose 1 or 2 points for each unused resource or feature in storage, respectively. After all, you need to be efficient. So for this player is going to lose 3 enlightenment points, plus 1, 4, 5, 6, and they have 1 koi fish that they didn't place. For this, another -2. Then we have the Zen principle scoring. For each card, the player with the highest value wins 8 victory points and the runner-up gains 4. These are these cards here, the 6 Zen cards that we have open. And on ties for the first place, all tied players receive 4 points and there is no second place. And on ties for the second place, however, all tied players receive the second value, which is 4. So just quickly to show you one of those, again, these are all described at the end of the rulebook. the player who has the number of rock features present on their landscape tiles. Okay, the most rocks gain 8, the second one gains 4. We have the way of endurance, which is this one. The most planted fruit tree features. We have the way of enlightenment, which is this one. Most ornamental features, statues, lanterns and bridges on landscape tiles. We have the way of unity. Most landscape tiles containing both paths and streams, and you add +1 to total for each bridge build. And then you have the way of energy, which this one with the stream, for the longest complete river made by landscape tiles including ponds. And this is the way of journeys, the longest continuous pathway presented on landscape tiles. Okay, so this is a substantial amount of alignment points that you should keep an eye for. Then we have honor scoring for shrine. The player highest on the honor track gains San Wukong's favor, 8 victory points, and the runner-up gets 4. All ties are tied players, both receive 4. Okay, for the shrine. We have the charity offering. Again, here you see the highest player gains 8 and the second gains 4. We have the monkey teaching scoring. You gain the enlightenment points shown on each monkey teaching card gained. For example, if you gain this card, you're going to gain 4 enlightenment points. Okay, and you total all of them you have. All of those are explained in the rulebook, just to show you. And the player who has the most enlightenment points at the end of the game is the winner. On ties, the tied player highest on the mountain step track wins, and if still tied, the tied player with the most impressive domain chosen by all players wins. So this is how the game plays. Just to show you, there is a game reference with the rounds, very simple, at the end of the rulebook, and all the bonus cards are explained. And also you see the enlightenment points you gain for features. When you build these trees, you gain 2 enlightenment points. For the koi or lotus, you gain 3. For statue or lantern, you gain a number of enlightenment points depending on the amount you have. And for the bridges, again, the same. Okay, and here's the cost for building the shrine. For level 1, you need 2 stone and 1 bamboo, 2 clay and 1 stone for level 2, and 2 bamboo and 1 clay for level 3. So there you have it. Now you know everything you need to know on how to play Zen Monkeys. So let's meet back up for my final wrap-up and first impressions from the game. Overall, I had a great time playing Zen Monkeys and I really recommend it. This is a game that builds on simple principles, not the Zen principles, thematically around the Zen principles, but in terms of mechanics and gameplay, it builds on worker placement, simultaneous action selection, and careful resource management and execution of different pattern building. It may sound too technical or too wooden, in wooden language, what I'm describing, but what I'm trying to say is this game looks a bit of friendly and cozy, which it's very accessible, but it has much more going on under the hood, and I'm saying this in a nice way. I really enjoyed, first of all, the worker placement, where you just place, you program what you're going to place, and then you don't know if you're going to execute based on the movement of the guardians, which is a result of the combined collective noise that everybody created by playing their movement cards. So it may not, or may trigger, plus a die roll. So this is really interesting, this push of luck element, because it can hurt sometimes in some rounds a lot. Next thing is interesting is the different opportunities for victory points. You can gain from a lot of different things without the need to remember all the details at any given time, but you can just focus on one special part and trying to gain a lot of victory points, or switch focus to another one. There are a lot of ways to gain victory points in this game, but it's not a VP salad in that way. In a nice way, it really builds and blends together well. And what I really enjoyed as well is the game from the beginning. You have a simple choice, simultaneous action selection, and we reveal a card of movement card. And on that card you can either go by placing all the way up to 3 monkey disciples, meeples essentially, workers on the board for foraging, or a bit less on the board for foraging and more on your own board for building stuff. And this balance also has a different impact on the collective noise you create. Down the road, once you gain the monkey teaching, say you'll have specific actions only for you on your tableau building where you have more cards available to you. There are a lot of things to gain as bonuses and mini combos and mini rewards by going on different tracks and getting also, you know, first place, ending on different tracks on first place gives you a lot of victory points at the end of the game. So all in all, everything bonds together really nice, gives a very nice framework. I have to admit, and I'm really honest here, I really enjoyed the game much more than I expected when I was diving into it from first looks point of view. Don't get me wrong, I like the, you know, the humorous, cartoonish art. I really enjoy it, but I think the game has many more things to offer in a very, very delicate way, in a very, very gentle way, without overwhelming the players. Really enjoyed the options, really enjoyed the fun aspect of it, very fun and engaging, and really, really interesting. I highly recommend it. This is Zen Monkeys. Many thanks for watching.